Downtown Salt Lake are finally clearing up after a series of accidents, some related to the weather, that caused major delays for drivers this morning.
And the worst of the backups were in the area of I-15 and I-80.
A tanker crashed on I-15 at 2100 South at around 2 o'clock this morning, closing the I-80 on-ramp for several hours. Then later in the morning, a second crash at I-15 and 2300 South. Fox 13's Scott McCain joins us live with the details. It was a mess this morning. Hi, Scott.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Those freeways you mentioned littered with slowdowns, fender benders, bumper-to-bumper traffic. It was crazy. There was at least 3 people taken to local hospitals with varying degrees of injuries. Now, the worst of which being a driver that was taken in critical condition to a local hospital. This is video we're showing you from the latest of these crashes. He was rushed to IMC in Murray in critical condition after a crash this morning about 9 a.m. on I-15 near the Spaghetti Bowl in roughly 2200 South. Now, UHP troopers say speed and distracted driving were the cause. They were in the process of cleaning up an earlier tractor-trailer crash when the man bounced off 2 retaining walls trying to avoid that whole mess. The semi-crash apparently also was the result of distracted driving in winter-like conditions. As you guys mentioned, about 1:45 this morning, the driver was hauling 2 tankers of crude oil when he was distracted, apparently by changing radio stations, and he rammed his big rig into a barrier wall. The scene took hours to clean up and crippled the morning commute. Then this. A series of collisions and slide-offs on I-215 near where we are now, near the I-80 ramp heading westbound towards the airport. Troopers say there were 3 multiple-car crashes here between 5 and 6:30 this morning, and at least 2 people were hurt in those wrecks.
We had a 2-car accident. They slid off into the median here, and then a 3rd car was coming down on the ramp and slid off and impacted those vehicles. So yeah, if people would increase their following distance and reduce their speed, we'd greatly appreciate it.
You know, it's kind of like Groundhog Day, the movie. You know, the troopers saying the same things over and over again, and yet people, you know, just not listening to that advice, especially when it's foggy and slick out there like this morning was. You need to give yourself some extra cushion between the driver ahead of you and to really pay attention to your surroundings, or you're going to wind up in one of these wrecks. Thankfully, again, there was one driver who was taken away to the hospital in critical condition, but he was speaking with troopers at the time he was put in an ambulance. For now, we're live in Salt Lake City. Scott McCain, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Yeah, pretty lucky considering what went on out there this morning. Thanks, Scott.